Hello everyone, welcome back to the Oceania 7K World Cup 2024, round of 24. We're here to bring you a very interesting matchup, which I will call the Lusophone Derby between Brazil and Portugal. This is Sergio85 in the commentary booth, and alongside with me is Mifa.
Hello. I'm very excited to see how this happened. Like as you said, this is pretty much a derby edition for this 7K World Cup, especially for Brazil and Portugal. And for Portugal's perspective, this is the match that doesn't really pretty much not for the faint-hearted because of their being the underdogs, especially when they're almost. I mean, they're not almost. It's just they're pretty on the bottom of the barrel in terms of the 24 qualified teams to be able to play through the round of 24.
Indeed, and Portugal doesn't exactly have like the easiest task because, again, you saw there, Brazil, they have pretty big names in that roster. Of course, start by the way, Silly Fangirl, Losus Fangirl, and Casa Fangirl. Three fangirls in that team.
Yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
famous names in the community. But Portugal doesn't. It has some players that might be able to keep up, depending on how they will be strategizing this match. Makiba, one of the map pool selectors in this world the sometime last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like given they're the players by themselves from Brazil are three famous names, especially like one of them also keeping up with the other players that are participated from like last year's. Portugal, on the other hand, I believe they didn't even have a team from like last year, so this might be a fresh. Might be a fresh start for the tournament, so we'll see how that happens for Portugal, as they have to beat Brazil in order to go to the round of 16.
Well, anyways, as mentioned, there are some changes in the rules again coming from last year, and we're seeing one of those changes. Portugal being the winner of the roles that we saw a few moments ago, will be having the privilege of getting the first protect in this matchup, which will be Chronoxia LN2, and Brazil will be protecting Rice 5 Unknown Amnesia. Brazil, by virtue of losing their roles, will be getting the first ban, and it will be Hybrid 1 Cosmoscape.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe given that Portugal's ban, given their strongest point is that they are on the Rise side of things, so they might just go. Oh, they're actually going for a freshness vacation, the third hybrid pick that is going to be banned here. So only one hybrid remaining on the pool for this match. Interesting turn of events, given that this match doesn't really have a clear indication of what goes where for the hybrids, as they're pretty much going for all Rice and all LN picks, it seems like.
Yeah. I find it interesting that maybe the weirdest of the three hybrid cards is the one left we have, which is Pure Silver. As we see Portugal immediately opting to pick their Protect Chronoxia. Just an overview as well for both of these teams. Across the board, across all 8 stages, Brazil practically dominates Portugal, which is kind of expected with the seeding difference between these two teams. Brazil finished in the 9th to 11th bracket, if my math is correct, in the 2023 World Cup, and Portugal did, if I am not mistaken, is one of those teams that qualified this year that did not have a team previously.
Yeah, this is going to be a fresh start for Portugal. Like I said before, that these players don't need to be taken lightly, as Rodrigo themselves is also a very good seven key player that also actually excels in one of the many picks in the early game stages, and it should have pose no problems. It just have to be you have to be consistent enough to be able to outmatch Brazil, given their strongest players are at their pretty much at their peak, even though with losing some key players like last year.
Indeed, and we have to mention again, Brazil barely missed out on the top 8. And like maybe if a few things went their way, they wouldn't have been playing this weekend. So Portugal really has a very, very tough hill to climb.
Yeah, as actually with speaking of this, the first pick that comes from Portugal, and this is a protected pick for Portugal. So just straight away, trying to showcase how good are they on pretty much the denser LN side of things, and given that this is also Brazil's pretty much one of their stronger points, if I'm not mistaken, outside of maybe the blatant rice picks that we already seen on the qualifiers. So this is going to be interesting enough for Portugal to be able to take their first point.
I mean, to be fair, especially with LN density, it's kind of normal for Rice teams to perform pretty decently on stuff like this because most of the time LN density charts um, in the early game end up being pretty similar to what we maybe look at as a court stream pick. As we see Sun finding the first drop of this matchup, and we're already seeing the difference in pedigree between both of these teams. Rodrigo is keeping up, actually the second best accuracy in this multiplayer room. Tart, by the way, carrying the mid 99.6 accuracy. Cassie Fangirl actually finding some accuracy drops but still maintaining it 99% as well. It's only Sun kind of struggling just a little bit.
Yeah, only dropping twice there for Sun, and this is already not looking great. Not a great start for Portugal, especially given both of the Brazilians keeping up the full combos, and there's the last person to drop on Portugal's side, which is only keeping up the struggle there, and Brazil is gonna pretty much single-handedly having around a significant lead to this point. And even Casio Fangirl actually taking the first drop off after this point is only Tart actually keeping up the full combo with like impressive accuracy overall, almost 99.7.
Very impressive indeed, and I think we're seeing Tart, by the way, just really settling down with that accuracy as we get to the end. And I think for this round, this might be one of the best scores we'll be seeing in this chart.
Yeah, and there you have it, around 57,000 point, pretty much convincing win there for Brazil. And that's also a protected pick by Portugal, so there's a tricky situation to be in, and Brazil already pretty much showing their dominance over the LNs now.
Now it's time for Brazil to make their first pick of this World Cup, which I presume, unless they just realize, like, yeah, I think we can just pick anything and we'll be fine. Would be funny if we see Team 37 all of a sudden as well, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, not a chance, especially Brazil already have their prioritized picks over the Rice. Given Unknown Amnesia was also the protected pick by Brazil, no surprises there. They're going to go for that first.
Anyways, for those who were paying attention to the introduction to the stream, I mentioned a term called lusophone. It's a term that I learned like a few months ago, like Portuguese speaking places. And obviously Brazil and Portugal. Yep.
Yeah,
So that's
I
why I
guess.
did call this matchup the Lusophone Derby.
Yeah,
Anyways,
going
we're seeing
straight
Brazil
in.
actually picking their own protect as well. Their own protect.
Yes.
Both protects have been picked.
It's just straight up protected pick. No surprises, like I've said before. After we gave it a little bit of an overview on how the picks should go for Brazil, and this is one of them that I really pretty much expect. This is pretty much expected. Their strongest suits are in there.
Yep. Big shout outs to Big Maxus. I remember them mentioning that they wanted to see this chart being picked, and there you go. Anyways, mixed rice pick. Especially like at least in the notes that I have, I kind of view this chart as that one pick where a lot of the higher seeded teams will be shining on, especially that the patterning gets a bit abrasive at the start, and then the patterning does become straightforward, but the density picks up and your stamina is going to be drained once you get to that point. And higher seeded teams will be having that advantage of that physicality to be able to keep up on that.
Yeah, given I believe the saving grace for this pick is in particular is that the patterns by itself are not they're not unorthodox. They be able to play it straight through without having any sort of difficulties. It's just a matter of transitioning in between the patterns that are might be problematic to some teams. Like already having a crash there for both Cassiofango and Sun already missing at the beginning.
Both Casio and Sun actually finding similar standings here. It's only Tart, by the way, kind of making the big difference really with that 99.8 accuracy over Rodrigo's mid 99.1. And here we see like these sweeping stairs. Actually, Casio finding a drop so easy, trading it. Actually, I think this start is going to be extremely close. And Tart, by the way,
finally.
Portugal finding some light at the end, finding some light in that tunnel, but Sun, unfortunately, trading Tart's miss yet again, unfortunately. So we're back to square one here. Brazil getting the upper hand as we enter this break section, and I don't think you'd want to miss here. Rodrigo, the only.
Yeah. Oh my god,
the only
Sun.
full combo. Ooh.
The patterns by itself are quite abrasive in terms of the sweeps and whatnot, and Cassiofango needs to pick up the slack a little bit here because the accuracy doesn't pretty much stay afloat too much there if you want Tart to carry the whole way through. And Portugal is trying to mount one last assault on the accuracy, but Sun picking up another drop.
Two consecutive drops indeed, and we're seeing Brazil just start to stretch that lead to their side. We're already hitting the 20,000 point difference here. Rodrigo still maintaining that full combo, which is very, very impressive.
Nope, not anymore.
I'll stop talking. But anyways, no more full combos left in this multiplayer room, but I don't think any of those misses matter now from the Portuguese side. Brazil is looking to get their second point and defending their first pick of this tournament.
Looking already a solid difference being built up by Brazil there. Very good composure there by Tart after having a strange drop at the just in the middle way through of the chart. But regardless, this is already a Brazil's point there, and the accuracy by itself is already amazing. By the way, for Tart, only 5,200s being dropped with a ratio that is pretty much half of everyone else.
Well, I think this is in a way this is kind of expected. Again, Brazil has that pedigree, that tournament experience really, and it just shows with their current form. And I don't even think that this is the best possible pair Brazil could show uh, in the tournament.
mean, given the current setup for current comp for Brazil, they still have the other two players that are also be able to substitute at any point. So this is definitely not the best performance that Brazil can bring in, but it's good enough to the point that it can actually beat Portugal at some level.
Well, if you're a Portuguese team, like a Portuguese team, like this is get that World Cup experience, like get the nerves out of the way, just play out of your mind. I mean, try not to get the nerves into you because that's kind of the downer really. Like if you get that break, that to be able to get a point off one of the bigger teams in this tournament, I think that's quite an achievement already to have, especially coming into this stage of the tournament as the very bottom seed. As we're seeing pure silver for the first time in this tournament, it's Portugal that's picking it, and I would think this might be a bit of a gamble that they're making here to grab that first point that they need to extend this match at least.
Well, to me at this point, picking pure silver is already their best choice. As far as strategy goes for pure silver, especially this is the wackiest hybrid of the three, and you would definitely have to get in through that, especially if you already lost your momentum for like the last two picks. And hybrid like this, where this involves a lot of flams into the patterns by itself, it could be like there's some like finger locking in this that might actually trigger accuracy downward.
I could definitely see that happening. Like, it's pretty hard to be consistent on a chart like this. I remember during test playing, there was one time I was able to 98, and then another play mid 97, and then another one is just S because like it's pretty hard to control the flams. There are LNs, there are rice, like the move goes into chord. If you're not paying enough attention, it's so easy to mess this one up.
Yeah, the patterning motion in this are pretty jarring at best. But if you can handle most of it, you basically gain a huge advantage over that. Well, I mean, with OD5, it's definitely easier to time, but by OD5, on definition, on flams like this, you really can't cheat them. But if you want to, you have to cheat them pretty cleverly, I would say.
I don't think cheat is a good term to call it. I think manip might be the better term. But
Well,
yeah, it's
if you can hit them legit, then you're not supposed to manipulate.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you could hit them legit, you're going to have, I'd say, have better scores than I'd say 90% of the playing rosters we get. And what are these accuracies already? Portugal overall having a better average accuracy at the start of this chart. Hard, by the way, carrying at 99.8, which is kind of what we expected. Kind of what we expect. Ooh, that's unfortunate from Sun there. And that's going into a section where the note density isn't there just yet. But anyways, back to where it was Tart with that pretty high accuracy, as we've already seen on the previous two charts. Casio Fangirl doing just enough to maintain that full combo. Like 99.3 is a pretty good accuracy already on charts like this.
It's on par with Sun's accuracy. Well, there's a drop right there. That could change a little bit, but Tart's accuracy is so far ahead of everyone else, and Sun already picking up another drop right there. So the lead is pretty much just stayed where it is.
Now on arguably the most tense part of this chart. Both teams maintaining composure. We're not seeing too many
There's a drop, another, yeah. There's another drop by Sun, a second one. But the accuracy is still pretty much staying the same pace as Cash of Fangirl. If anything, Cash of Fangirl might be dropping gradually, but not to a point
they're gaining now.
At any moment.
Casio is gaining now, but again, as I was about to mention, I'm pretty surprised that there aren't too many accuracy drops in this chart. I mean, yeah, there are misses, there are a few 200s, but not any major meltdowns for any of these players. Sun, unfortunately, finding yet another drop, but I mean, like 98% on this is a pretty good run already.
99.7% by Tar. There's already a full combo.
Tar.
3,200.
200. Alright.
Also very impressive showing by Rodrigo as well, taking up another FC from this lobby too. It's already a very hard chart to even get an FC on.
These scores are the ones that like a lot of us like around like just below the World Cup level, like yeah, these are dream scores. Like I want to get this act, I want to get FC like that. Like if you want to aim for this level, like, you'd probably look into getting scores like these.
Let's see how Brazil will respond now.
Brazil. What else have we not seen on stream? I think Luminaria hasn't been picked yet, and of course Team 37. I think those are the only two charts left that we haven't seen this weekend.
I can see Portugal being hesitant to pick Team 37, but at this point, that should be their best pick. Given Crush Alcohol is already at a point where Chronoxia is in, and Team 37 is the only one that is the outlier of everything else. And now Brazil's going to be picking Crush Alcohol.
And coming off a Pure Silver, I think this is are good picks already for them.
As a person that knows the chart on a personal level, this is definitely something that Portugal can actually maybe match up until the last quarter of the chart. The last quarter of the chart has some pretty noticeable spike that may actually trip up a few on the accuracy side.
Well, I kind of find it funny, the Lusophone Derby pricking a Makiba chart. Yup. Shoutouts to one of the Maple sectors again, Makiba. Yeah, as you mentioned, the final quarter, I'd say the final third even, does get pretty difficult. If Portugal isn't to keep up, try to maintain that momentum, and maybe hope for some inconsistencies as well from the Brazilian side.
Yeah, here we go. The harder malt pick. Definitely don't want to miss out on that tournament that I just mentioned before, but this is definitely the harder one, and it fits for round 24.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun tournament. Anyways, here we go. Chart number 4 of the Lusophone Derby. And as we've seen, Portugal actually getting the lead early on. But again, as you mentioned, until we get to the third final quarter of this chart, this lead probably won't matter.
Although maybe on the accuracy side might be struggling a fair bit there for Cash of Fangirl actually. Oh, Rodrigo already picking up the first drop. Oh, actually the top bro is now struggling a little bit now.
I guess we're getting to that point where kind of want to do
Oh,
some
that's a
damage limitations
misread by
on
Sun.
running man LNs are not fun to read.
That's a misread completely. That like going around 99.2 to 98.6 just on that one particular running man pattern.
Meanwhile, Tart being Tart. Well, anyways, now we're about to enter the second half of the chart. Arguably the harder of the two halves of this chart. And if there's anything Portugal doesn't want, is to find any inconsistencies and hope for Brazil to have them.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes
The
because
score
we're entering the last quarter now. Oh,
isn't
Tart!
big enough
Tart begins to find the drop on the
for-
after the transition.
for a comeback to not happen.
So far, it's taking the charge there for Brazil. Although there's some accuracy drops here and there, that nothing too major at this point.
Actually, both of the teams maintaining composure in this
Not
section
quite
very well.
there yet. Yeah.
Also, unfortunately, it's a drop, but that's kind of expected, really, on a section this spiky, I'd say.
Yeah, around 21,000,
Brazil
but this is the
gets to
closer
match
difference that
point.
we've seen. Yeah, this is actually quite a pretty spread out score. It looks like there's no FCs, but there's been a couple of slider break occasions, like Tart getting 2 slider breaks and Rodrigo getting 1. But overall, I think the scores might be like the closest we've seen on the difference so far.
Now Brazil has I'd say a mildly difficult task of extending this match.
If anything, they have to go with the
Just map by
V37
map.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, Team 37. But like it's Team 37 is a double-edged sword. Me and Patasha were talking about it in the previous match. And again, Team 37 only has 600
Oh,
long notes. like,
They're going for the
around
memes?
that.
Question
And
mark?
if you miss somewhere, if they miss somewhere, it's going to be extremely hard
They're
to come
doing
back.
it!
Ah, there we go. LN1. They're doing it. They're doing it.
There we go. I think this is the first time you've seen this match.
To Team Portugal, I salute your bravery for picking arguably the hardest chart in this entire map pool.
Well, by hardest, it's quite a mile.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is round 24, but I'd argue some players not in the World Cup roster can score way better than the players who are in it. Like some of them, given how this thing is actually charted.
This is almost impossible to making sure you let go on any of these LNs because the combo is so small. Like the max combo is not even above 700.
Yeah. Like again, if you miss somewhere, say your chances of a good score on this chart bye bye.
And yeah, we're seeing Lotus Fangirl instead of Tard, so maybe a good swap. It depends on the performances for sure, but given the by the chart itself, it kind of feels like they're gambling a little bit too much. Yeah, like Lotus Fangirl already missing on the one LN there, and a couple 200s actually.
And I'd say like if for some reason Portugal finds some composure by the middle of this chart. Maybe that bad intro from
Oh,
Lotus Fangirl might
oh,
already give Portugal the
actually looking
spot.
promising. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, this Rodrigo just maintained that, and I think
Okay,
Cassie
okay,
would notice
that
a full reset.
that may actually seal the deal because Rodrigo is actually still at about 99, and everyone else is not even on the S rank. Even Casio is just
Yeah.
barely 95.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing one of the greatest performances in Oceania 7K World Cup history right here.
Yeah, definitely. Struggling to get an S rank for Brazil, and Portugal does have almost 95, but the other is an FC. So that alone only beats like about 100,000 points just purely on that difference.
Rodrigo, the only S rank remaining in this entire multiplayer.
Only the S rank, but yeah, nevertheless, no
Only the S rank,
FCs, not meant to be. But this is already a meme pick. A meme's done well, and Portugal is definitely getting this point by virtually an Ellen release pick.
Oh man, I love Ellen coordination in tournaments. I really do.
It's a shame
Lotus
that last
Fangirl
year,
recovering to mid 95%.
it's a shame that we didn't even see this in like last year at all. In like around the 16.
I mean, Hana no Yakusoku wasn't as difficult as this.
Well, there you go. Portugal's first point. Not
Wow.
not bizarrely so, but you know, getting almost to a point that everyone's struggling to get an S on this is something else. And Rodrigo getting a negative. Actually, both of them are getting negative
only.
ratios.
Yeah. But like, look at that. Only Ellen drops from Rodrigo. Like that could have been an FC. Easily could have been an FC.
Yeah. As you can completely tell, this is already very easy to get 50s, and this is the result of April 14 wannabe.
Yep. Again, I think you saw my Maple notes already. Like LN1, MWC 7K 2024 edit.
All right, there's the point, and there's only 4 rice picks remaining in this pool. And they're going for flash dance here. More of a kind of a weirder core jack pick.
Ooh, flash dance.
I think there's nothing to compare it with for this kind of chart. At this level of Mania World Cup, in comparison to last year's, I think there's nothing to compare it.
Yeah,
for this pick.
I mean, to be fair, what we had last year was that the first round was more anchor heavy, and then the next round was a bit more spread out. Like, not much anchors, and then we went back to more anchor based core jacking. We basically alternated between the two styles. This time around though, we started with a more spread out core jack chart, but there are some mild anchor sections. I think the longest one I've seen is like 4 or 5 chords in the same column, 4 or 5 note anchors, but this chart is super spread out, and while the patterning is super light, like you could still act this, but if you're not careful, it's super easy to choke on this as well.
I'm guessing that the combined chords that it kind of like goes like PR, like the pitch. It's kind of like a pitch relevance chord at some point, but it kind of doesn't look that way. It's just meant to be weird.
Also, that pattern, like index ring, index middle finger, and then middle ring. Well, even for this level, like it's extremely hard to control. that kind of pattern.
Actually, so far looking like the
And
accuracy is actually going back and forth. Nothing missed. There's nothing missed out on there. Holding on pretty well so far.
mention one of the players here because I might.
Well, some transition.
I don't want to mention one of the players.
Transition warning there. Actually, might be kind of scary given the core jack in nature. Especially for a Rodrigo, actually kind of dangerously low on accuracy. But Sun picking up the first drop of here.
Unfortunately for Sun. Ooh, consecutive drops from Sun and on the heavier chords as well. And Lotus Fangirl finding a trade actually at 100 as well. Lotus Fangirl, one of the lowest accuracy in this entire lobby. Score difference is slightly decreasing, but
although
with that
it's now
Sun,
gaining now.
I think this might seal the deal.
It's gaining now, but there's not much left in the chart, so I believe that would be that goes all she wrote for Portugal. And you know, this is a very wild ride for Portugal for bringing it back here to the round of 24. Even surviving and getting a point off of Brazil on a bizarre LN pick.
Artak. Ooh, 105. 100. Almost
105,
300. Alright.
Also, Sun being able to
from Tart.
Sun being able to keep up with Tart with the 1-200 as well, but picking up what it seems to be a core jack nature in itself. You get more misses than the other judgments. Already a solid run there for Portugal, but unfortunately Portugal will not be able to move on to the next round. And Brazil staying strong here, going to the round of 16 here. So congratulations for Brazil.
Brazil will have the honor of facing Australia next weekend, if I am looking at the brackets correctly. And Portugal, they're not yet eliminated from the tournament. They just won't be playing next week in the losers bracket since does have some bias. I mean, we'll be awaiting.
Yeah. Given Brazil's performance, I would say that they might be scarier in terms of like the next round. So maybe around the 16, they have some other improved performances in that round. But now we're actually going to be taking a pretty much a long break because the next match is going to be Netherlands versus Taiwan in virtually almost the day after. So it's about 19 hours from there at 13:30 UTC. Yep. So it's kind of a tough ride as well because that kind of match is like around we're getting into the middle seeded teams that are actually competing against each other. So that would be fun as well to watch.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that is a 16 versus 17 match. So I think that is going to be a pretty spicy one indeed. I hope you guys had fun watching the two matches we have for this Saturday. And we'll hope to see you guys tomorrow for more MW7K action.
Yeah, this is Mifa and Sergio. We're actually going to be signing off for the day. See you tomorrow.